Hello and welcome back to Off the Crossbar Transfer News with myself, Regan Walsh, and my co-presenter, as always, Bradley Morris. How are you on this Friday afternoon, Brad?
Is it weird that I'm getting a weird sense of deja vu?
I mean, we did record our podcast yesterday, so that is maybe why. It's a little different than usual transfer-wise because there hasn't been much happening in the world of transfers, but we thought we'd give a short reflection on the Liverpool game from Thursday night, considering we didn't talk about it on our podcast, which is also out today, which you can go and listen to now because that was pre-recorded to the game. So Liverpool lost 1-0 to Sean Dyche's Burnley. Ashley Barnes scoring the winning goal to end Liverpool's 68-game unbeaten record at home. Just a quick thoughts on the game, Brad.
I think Liverpool have been found out.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. They've now gone 442 minutes without scoring a goal in the Premier League game, and they just don't look as deadly as they have done in previous seasons.
As we said in the Man U game, the killer instinct has disappeared from last season, which made them all so frightening and no one wanted to play them. Whereas now,
It
you
seems
almost
like
want it because it feels like there's a way of getting at them all of a sudden.
Yeah, the fear factor just seems to have disappeared over the last 2 months of the Premier League season, which is very strange. They now sit in fourth place as we head into this FA Cup weekend, where they will be playing Manchester United, and then their next set of fixtures in all competitions for the next month are Tottenham in the Premier League, followed by West Ham, Brighton, and Man City, and Leicester City. Then they have RB Leipzig, the first leg in the Champions League, and then Everton in the Premier League. It's not a nice set of fixtures, is it, for Liverpool, considering how bad they're doing at this moment in time?
It's not the most ideal list, but you'd still count on them to find their way again.
You would think so, but at this rate, you never know. It could be one of them where they pick up points here and there, but they could potentially be out of the race for the title. I mean, Jamie Carragher seemed to be saying yesterday after the game that they could be in a very hard race for the top four. So
I don't know about that one, but
you never know. It's going to be an interesting watch to see what happens over the next month or so with them fixtures. Right, onto the transfers.
If there's a way we can link transfers into this, there's all this talk of them needing defence reinforcements, but should they be looking more at forwards?
You would think so. I mean,
Divock Origi ain't it?
his little spell as the golden boy of Liverpool seems to have disappeared.
There's only so many times that corners can be tackled quickly.
Yep, and it seems to have run out for them now. So it's definitely one to see what happens in the future with them. Onto the transfer news now. So we have had a confirmed transfer this morning in the Premier League. Arsenal have completed the loan signing of Matt Ryan on loan from Brighton and Hove Albion for the remainder of the season, which was a strange one because it came out of the blue, really, didn't it?
Makes a change that in a transfer window. So we're going completely out of the radar of the media.
I don't know, because they had been linked with a goalkeeper in the summer before they signed Runnison. They were linked with David Raya of Brentford, but Raya then extended his contract with the Bees, and then they went on to sign Runnison. And then at the start of this window, again, they were linked with a few goalkeepers. I think Raya again from Brentford. And then this one of signing Matt Ryan's just came out of nowhere. But apparently it will now allow Runnison to leave on loan to help him gain a bit of experience. So, although strange, although it's strange, it does make sense for him. So that's definitely going to be an interesting watch to see how many games, if actually any, Matt Ryan does play whilst at Arsenal. Another bit of transfer news with a potential incoming at the Emirates Stadium is Martin Odegaard. The Norwegian midfielder looks set to join Mikel Arteta's side on loan again for the remainder of this season. He had been linked with a move to Real Sociedad after coming out at the start of this week saying he wants to get a move away from Real Madrid due to the lack of game time. But Real Madrid blocked a move to Sociedad, and Mikel Arteta personally called Martin Odegaard and convinced him to join Arsenal. Your thoughts on this move then?
We remember 6 years ago with Martin Odegaard, this 16-year-old Norwegian kid everyone talked about. It's going to be the next Lionel Messi. He's 22 years old now, and the man has barely been given a chance to shine.
Yeah, I mean, it was always going to be hard in that Real Madrid midfield when you realise they got Toni Kroos in. Xavi Alonso was, I think, still there at the time, or he might have just been transferred to
pretty sure
Bayern.
he was at Bayern at that point.
Okay, I couldn't think of when he transferred. I don't know if it was like that following season or he'd already gone to Bayern. Casemiro's in the middle of midfield, so it was always going to be hard for a young Odegaard at that time. And hopefully, with this loan move away, he can actually get to good finding his feet. But
it's
for me,
definite. There's one thing is it's a definite example of so much pressure being piled on a young kid, basically.
100%. But for me, this one doesn't make a little bit of sense because he plays as that centre attacking midfielder role, or just behind the striker, if you want to be a classic football fan and call it that, rather than the centre attacking midfield, which many people know off like football games such as FIFA and that. He plays in the Emil Smith-Rowe position, which is not someone you want to be getting rid of considering his current good form for Arsenal. And then he can also play out on the right wing, which is where Bukayo Saka has been playing recently. And
Saka been playing on the right?
He did in their last game against Newcastle on Monday.
Interesting, because he's been so used to being on the left. It's a weird one.
Yeah, I mean, for me though, it's if he does go there, like who does he then replace in that starting 11? Because you don't want to be getting rid of Smith-Rowe and Saka when they've arguably been Arsenal's best players over the last month.
Maybe whether the shape changes or not, and because they play 4-2-3-1 at some point.
Yeah,
So maybe they put him in the middle with the two wide men.
Could be an interesting thing to see.
It gives them depth.
100%. It'd be very interesting to see what that he can do and what he can do going forward for the remainder of this season. Another bit of transfer news is Wolverhampton Wanderers are set to sign Willian Jose from Real Sociedad. And this move is practically done. There's just got to have his medical and sign the paperwork. He joined the West Midlands side on loan with the option to buy for around 19 to 20 million euros. Wolves have finally got the striker that they've needed after missing Raul Jimenez for a few weeks due to his fractured skull, and it relieves a bit of pressure on Fabio Silva, you got to say.
It should do. It's not a Portuguese player.
Which is surprising for once.
I mean, he's Brazilian, he speaks Portuguese, which will help him. But he was quite prolific for Real Sociedad in La Liga, I think it was.
He had a really good season, I think it was last year.
Whether he can translate that in the Premier League or not is left out there to be decided.
Yes, that will also allow Patrick Crotone to leave the club after he was recalled initially from his loan at Fiorentina, just to help Fabio Silva and the rest of Nuno Espirito's forwards. But he does seem out of favour and looks like he could leave the club in the near future. So it'll be very interesting, like you said, to see how Willian Jose fits in and adapts to the English game. Some news on Fikayo Tomori. He has landed in Milan this afternoon and he's set to undergo a medical and sign all his paperwork ahead of a loan move to AC Milan for the remainder of this season with a buy option for £25 million. We've been talking about this now for the last 2 or 3 episodes. Good for Tomori to get out of that Chelsea team and get some game action, hopefully, under his belt.
Well, yeah. It'll be important for him that he does actually get the game time with Milan. I feel like he would have confirmed that before he made the decision.
I think for me, he will definitely get game time because they do seem to be a very interchangeable team at Milan this season, so there is definitely chance for him to play a lot of games for the second half of the season. And hopefully he impresses good enough for them. Right. Arkadiusz Milik joined Marseille from Napoli on loan for the remainder of the season, and then they will pay £8 million fee for him, with 4 million in add-ons, and then a sell-on clause of 20% should the French side decide to sell him in the future. A bit surprising, really. Gotta say, Milik leaving Napoli.
I guess so. I mean, if he's fell out slightly in the pecking order at Napoli, then it's not the biggest surprise. But he was a crucial player for them, like years ago.
Yeah, I think that's what many fans are a bit shocked about, considering how crucial he has been for Napoli. Like, as you said, over the years, for him to now lead the club is a bit of a shock to the system, but you never know how he will get on. Is there any updates that you've heard on Morgan Sanson to Aston Villa, or seen anything on it?
Other than the fact that we're insulting them with the offers we're sending for him now.
Why? What are the reported offers that you've tabled?
Was it the word was that the original offer, and this was from Villas-Boas himself in his post-match interview, said that the first offer was pathetic.
Mm.
It came out that it was something like 7 million with 2 million in bonuses, which is a lot lower than even I believe that was worth.
Yeah, I mean, there has been reports that Sanson is worth a reported 16 million. So 7 and 2 million is a ridiculous bid, and there would be no chance that they would accept that bid any time soon with how things are going. The only other bit of transfer news that I have seen, well, it's not really transfer news, it's just there was a rumour going around that Leicester City could potentially be interested in signing Christian Eriksen from Inter Milan on loan for the remainder of the season. However, Inter Milan have made it clear that any club that want to sign the Danish midfielder would have to pay his full wages, which is a reported 300 grand a week, which has put Leicester City off any potential deal. That would be really strange seeing it in a Leicester t-shirt if it was to ever happen.
The sign when Leicester are more likely to get him back than Tottenham or an Arsenal.
Yeah, it's crazy. In recent days, there has been talk that Tottenham have been interested in signing Danny Ings, whose contract is up shortly with Southampton. However, Jose Mourinho has came out today in his press conference and confirmed that Tottenham aren't in the market for a striker, despite being in apparent talks and linked with Danny Ings of Southampton.
You don't need Danny Ings?
No. I think he would be like a Fernando Llorente type role. He wouldn't get much game time, and that just wouldn't work for him.
Pretty sure Carlos Vinicius has already taken that one.
Yes. I believe that is all the transfers in the men's game, unless we've missed any. There has been some big transfers over in the world of women's football over the last few days or so, so I'm just going to take you through them now. Manchester United confirmed the signing of Maria Thorisdottir from Chelsea on a 2-year contract with the option of a further year. So that would be at the end of the 2022-23 season, which is a very good signing for Casey Stoney side as they try and make a move for the title. They have allowed defender Abby McManus to leave the club on loan to join fellow Premier League side Tottenham for the remainder of the season. Chelsea have let Charlotte Fleming join Championship side Leicester City. Manchester City have allowed Jules Scott to go out on loan to Everton. Everton have themselves sold Damaris Igarula to French champions Lyon, which is a good signing for them. And the only other bit of big transfer news was Abidal Camper has joined Manchester City on a 2.5-year deal from North Carolina Courage. Again, good business for Man City, and she becomes the third American to join the Citizens after Sam Lewis and Rose Lavelle joined the sides.
Sounds very courageous of you, must say.
Really? Did you really have to do that, joke?
It's done now.
Yes. Right. I do believe that is anything else. We'll be back on Monday if we have missed anything. regarding to the transfer news in the world of football, both in the men's and women's game. And obviously, if you haven't already listened to our preview show that was out earlier on today, where we look at all the stuff happening in this upcoming Premier League weekend, and get to hear myself and Bradley Morris have our own rants about stuff. Brad is talking about the Aston Villa game against Manchester City from the other day, and I have a rant over the team of the year for both men and women's games. And until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you on Monday. It's goodbye from me and goodbye from Brad.
That's it.
And we'll see you soon.